Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fans in Motion podcast. The gang is all here. Our tour guides, Josh. Say hello, Josh.
Hello.
Brent.
Hello, hello, hello.
We're back for another adventure. And me, I'm the captain. My name is Andy. We're here to start another episode. This is our fourth episode. Might be in our top 4 of all time, if I had to guess.
Hey, I wanted to let you guys know, too, this is a big day for me, that I actually stopped smoking cigarettes. I'm on the like a 5-year plan now, where I go to cigars, and then after that I go to pipes, then I go to chewing tobacco, and then after that I'm on to nicotine gum.
You should do all of them at the same time. Brent, that line just about set me off the picture there. I don't know.
That's the only one I could come up off the cuff.
You may have noticed I got a slight weight problem. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Anyway,
you swallow a lot of aggression?
Along with a lot of pizzas. Pizzas.
Get in your mouth
my God.
And get out of here.
Stripes.
Oh my God. Wow, this did not start off the way I expected to, but it's fun, and this is why I love doing this. This is much fun. I'm looking forward to this episode. I won't give away the topic yet, Josh. I'll wait till we get to that point. But have we got any feedback, any thoughts on the previous episodes we've released? At this point, we only have, 2 out?
2 out. Episode 0 and episode 1, so that would make this technically episode 3.
Well, yes, but it's our 4th, if you count 0 as 1.
Yeah,
and then you...
Yeah, exactly.
Carry the 2.
It's an Amelia math.
The last episode was Dawn Patrol and the Origins, which was a long episode. There was a few things. I can't remember. I don't know if it was Robbie Swink that told me this or brought it up. If not, it was someone else, and I apologize. But between...
Actually, the last episode was when we pick our CDs.
No, he's right. He's right. You're not thinking fourth. Right. You're not thinking fourth dimensionally.
So thinking forward. That comes out next week.
The last episode you guys have seen is the top 12 albums. We're recording this before it's released. So the episode that I'm referring to will be the Dawn Patrol album. So between Rubicon and or between Jack Blades playing with Sly and the Family Stone and then joining Rubicon, he was in a band for about 6 or 7 months, which I remembered that part. I didn't really mention it just because those guys were probably in tons of small bands at that point. But the band was actually called Rampage.
Wow.
So he was in a band for about 6 months between Sly and the Family Stone and Rubicon, basically I would assume to make money while... From what I understand, Jerry Martini was still trying to get the record deal, so he didn't really have a deal yet. So in between, he wanted Jack to be in the band, but he had to get that deal. So there is that. So Jack Blades had a band in the 70s called Rampage for about 6 or 7 months. And then I held up an album called it was a compilation album from Sacramento, 82, and it was a band called Avalanche that Jeff Watson's name was on. I didn't have much information on it. Robbie Swink, who's on the page, actually messaged Jeff and asked him about it, and Jeff didn't really have much recollection of it. Robbie then messaged me about it and told me about that. So I just went ahead and messaged Jeff and sent him pictures of it and just said, hey, I know some people have messaged you about this. Here are some pictures of the album just so you can actually see what it is. And Jeff was like, man, it's a long time ago. I don't really remember. It doesn't mean that I didn't. And I basically told Jeff that I would make a video, put it on this, the turntable and make a video of it and let him listen to it. He basically said he wouldn't really know unless he heard it. So, we don't know. Like I said, Jeff was from Sacramento. That label is Sacramento. So that's what kind of led me to believe, hey, it's 82. Brad's with Night Ranger, so maybe Jeff jumped in and did a quick recording with that band. Who knows? We'll figure it out. But anyways, those are 2 things from that Dawn Patrol episode that some individuals had brought up.
Super cool. Hey, before we get too far into this, I noticed you guys are rocking some pretty darn cool Midnight Madness T-shirts.
Yeah, someone didn't get the fucking memo.
I am going to my Kiss reunion tour from Cleveland's Gund Arena.
Man, that's a big logo
now,
there.
isn't it?
That's a big logo.
You like that?
Yeah, it's like three-dimensional. They're coming out at me.
It's because I'm fat. My moobs are showing, but
Here,
I didn't
this is
have time.
This is our fourth member.
That's our motivational speaker. You guys, most people look at Richard Simmons. We look at Stay Puft Guy. But yeah, I didn't have time to order me a shirt. My life's a little hectic right now, but I feel bad because I didn't get one. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure we point out you guys look cooler than I do currently.
You probably say that on any episode.
I say it to all the people I podcast with. So, any news, anything happening in the world of the Neverland world of Night Ranger?
Yeah, I mean, we now this is, remember, we're filming this. This is going to be almost a week and a half old by the time people get to see this. But Eric Levy and Joel Hoekstra just announced that they are releasing a project in early July. So it looks like it's a single, but I'm going to assume there's probably more to it. We had hinted about some things in the earlier episode, that there was some stuff going on in the background. That was kind of what we were referring to. But yeah, so it's who's all in that group? Was it Tony Franklin?
No, it wasn't Tony Franklin.
Tony Harnell.
Yeah, Tony Harnell.
Yeah, he's on vocals.
Mike Starr.
TNT. Matt Starr. Drummer for Ace Frehley's band, the new Macaulay project that came out. James Lomenzo.
Yep, from
Also former Ace Frehley. White Lion. David Lee Roth.
Megadeth.
Amazing Race.
Amazing Race, that's right.
Megadeth.
Got stuck in Russia, lost the episode.
And there is Eric Levy of Night Ranger.
Yeah, there's that kind of the guy who plays little keyboard action there for Night Rangers. He's a little skiddity-scaddity there.
So 2/3 of it is Night Ranger members.
And 2/3 Ace Frehley members.
Yeah. So we got
mixes together, Kiss and Night Ranger.
Yeah, well.
So we got some some new music coming out, so that's good.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I can't wait to hear that. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's a super group for sure.
It is essentially, yeah.
But other than that, there's nothing really going on with the band per se. It's really just that right there. So. You know.
Yeah, I think sadly, unfortunately, in this pandemic time that we're dealing with right now, nothing is going on. The tours are canceled. Everything's canceled. Nobody's doing anything. So news is going to be just, I think,
stagnant.
Not much going on, but we try. And I think Josh and Brent do a lot of work during the week trying to find stuff to talk about news-wise. So,
but we got something.
Speaking of, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I mean, the good thing is we got new music from Joel and Eric, and we'll promote the hell out of it on the page.
Yes. Go ahead, Brent.
I was going to say, speaking of finding stuff in on the page, little Bethany posted a picture of Jack and Brad looking like they were from Sha-Na-Na. I was calling them Sha-Na-Na Night Ranger, whatever. That was really cool. I'd never seen that picture before. And when I got to digging and found out it was from the Bammies, I mean, I'm assuming that's correct. I don't see what else it could be if Huey Lewis also sang with them and the Neville Brothers, and of course Josh found the infamous Mario, or noticed Mario behind Jack and Brad. It was pretty cool. That was a good post.
Yeah, they almost looked a little bit like they were from the Lost Boys, if I was glancing at it.
Well, they had that little curly cue, that little greaser curly cue they tried to do, and
get Kiefer Sutherland there, and we'd have another the two Coreys, and we got a movie.
Well, I knew that.
Never seen the movie.
I probably knew a little bit too
Shocker.
much about the band when Brent had said it looks like someone had said it looked like Midnight Madness or something, and Brent had said no, it looks more like Big Life, and I was like, you know what? I don't look like quite Big Life, and I don't look like quite Seven Wishes. So I put on there, it's probably 86, maybe 87. And sure enough, So it's like I was able to just tell, and there's shit I probably need to know more than this, but I could tell that that is probably 86, not 85, not 87, 86.
Yeah,
I can tell two dudes what year. I was just like,
yeah,
all right.
I was going by Jack's hair, the bottom of his hair.
He had the bleach spot, right?
So,
yeah, that's what I was going with more, and I was just trying to get a timeline on it in my head.
So, but you were, like I said, 87, but then it's like, I don't think it's quite full-blown Big Life, so it might be 86. And anyways,
it's close enough.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's yeah.
I was going to say, if this was any other group of people talking, I'd be like, you guys have a problem. Mm-hmm. But then when I realized who I'm talking to, I was like, nah, that's kind of par for the course that you guys...
But at least it gives us some credibility a little bit,
80, that's got to be 86.
Well, people posted on the page. No one knew about it. And I had seen the picture before. I say that's why I knew Bruce Springsteen was on the back, the flip side of it. I knew it was from a magazine. But, we figured it out within an hour probably.
So that's we've kind of jumped ahead into the Fans in Motion page stuff, which is cool. Finding these things, I love seeing so much stuff that people are throwing out there. It's so invigorating for Night Ranger fans. Like, again, they were never such a huge band, and now those of us who are such fans of them, and seeing all this stuff and these pictures on it's great, and I love the page, Josh, and I think you guys are doing a great job running it.
And I'm probably going to mess. And Brent has talked about the Japanese fans. That's what's great too is I can tell some Japanese promos apart, especially when I have two of the same copy, and I can see, hey, this has this doesn't. That probably is a promo copy. But I had a Rubicon single, and it had the little square with some writing in it. Now, I know some early Night Ranger promos, only early ones, have the same square. And so I was able to put up there, hey, is this a promo? And I guess in Japan they don't use the word promo, they use the word sample. So his name is, I'm going to probably going to mispronounce this, Mio Hahare. Anyways, he was able to translate it for me and told me that it does indeed say sample on there. So that Rubicon Japanese 45 that I have actually turns out to be a promo 45. So yay me.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty cool when he chimed in. That was really cool because I figured I thought it just said not for sale like ours do.
Yeah.
Yep.
So is there anything else on the page I might want to talk about before we move on to the to new stuff?
Well,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say I really enjoyed Brandon Douglas. I believe Brandon Douglas had Night Ranger come to his facility and they put on a show. And there's a picture of him. He's standing in front of the stage like this, and Brad is making a god-awful face behind him. It was hysterical.
Yeah.
And then everybody else started showing their front row pictures, and I just thought that was really, really cool.
That was a fun post. I enjoyed seeing that.
Yeah. But I mean, right away when I saw Brad and my daughter walks by, she goes, "That looks photoshopped." I said, "It ain't photoshopped. This is Brad just nailed it at the right moment,
I noticed that a lot. I'm sure you guys have too. If you're at the shows, you watch if Brent.
Brent, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Andy froze up.
Andy froze up on us.
Yeah. It's all right. He'll come back. In fact, what I'll do is I'll send him a message while we're recording and talking and tell him if he hangs up, he can come back into the recording, can he?
Yep. I just stopped his, so now we are bigger on the screen.
Hey! Look how fat I am.
So, hey.
Anyway, I'm going to...
Well, you go ahead and message him. I'll throw up some Night Ranger memorabilia here while we chit-chat. So I was going to throw this up later, but some of you may have never seen this. This is the Japanese box set that came out in 2007.
I hate you for that, by the way. I want that so bad. It's back on Amazon right now for like $384.
I think I got it for $100 off someone selling it on either Amazon or eBay. But anyways, what's cool is it's basically like mini vinyl albums. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
And what's crazy is they are released on Geffen.
Yeah.
Which Geffen end up buying the rights, I think, to the Japanese catalog. And when you download this stuff off of iTunes, this is what you're getting. So I'll open up one.
Here it comes.
Here.
I no idea what just happened. My internet went out completely.
It's all right. We were talking about you. No, he's showing the box from Japan.
I heard you missed me. I'm back. Whoa.
Better lock up your refrigerator.
Ah.
Anyway, Josh, are you still there? Continue with that box. I want to see that box real quick.
I was trying to get on my phone to join the conversation. That's how crazy it was here a minute ago.
Well, I sent you a message saying call back in because it would pick you up and bring you back into the recording.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know what happened. I said I lost connection, and anyway.
That happens again. I'm going to have a screen that says we're experiencing technical difficulties behind us.
Oh, my gosh.
So you'll all know.
It's like Beck, man. I'm a loser, baby.
I'm just showing off the box set while we were... And if I get better at this, I'll edit that down, but that takes time, and I got a 3-year-old, so... All right,
yeah.
So
have we moved on to the topic of the day?
Hold on. I started showing the box set, so, to kill time.
You got to finish.
So here is the Geffen Midnight Madness.
That's crazy.
And then inside it comes with a little miniature dust jacket.
Oh, that's awesome. Just like the album.
And then it's got the Japanese lyric book.
Yep.
So, anyways, yes, it's very cool. Glad that I tracked it down when I did. And I don't know where we were at, Brent or Andy, but let's just show off some new stuff and get on to the topic.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
I don't have anything.
But I got an old Gamma 45 single. Alan Fitzgerald's was with Ronnie Montrose back in 1980. So this would be coming out basically right around time Jack and Fitz were roommates. And the other thing I got...
Is that real or is it a bootleg?
This is real.
I guess it's a...
So, Global Satellite Network, Rockline, I came across this. It's Damn Yankees right around the release of the first album. Nothing special, nothing inside, just tells you the time and date. And it just gives you, they got a sticker telling you what's on there, nothing on the other side. So, anyways.
Are they selling those now?
No, this is something I found at a store, record shop for a few bucks,
Because, those were live. I got to speak to Kiss on 2 different episodes on Rockline.
I was intoxicated.
I was a nervous wreck.
I was intoxicated one time. Came home, I think they said on Facebook or MySpace at the time, Night Ranger's going live, send us some questions. And, I don't think people were calling in or something, so I just got home from the bar, so I called in, and hell, I don't know what I asked them, but I was on the air live.
So cool.
So I think I asked them about Stereo and asked them who was in it. And that's when they told me, Jerry Martini and Jimmy Pugh.
Sweet, man. That's awesome. I don't have any stories like that. Brent has all of them. I don't have any.
So I sat there and I got to tell the story real quick. I asked Kiss, I'm in a room filled with Kiss merchandise. I asked them what their favorite collectible was that they've ever released. And Paul and Gene said, I think it would be the T-shirt.
Wow, Gene.
Nothing cooler than seeing your logo on somebody's chest.
That's insightful.
That speaks volumes. And I'm thinking, over the pinball machine?
Yeah, it's a pinball machine, Gene. Come on.
Anyway,
Yeah. Well, we'll know the same feeling when we go to a show next year, and we see the Fans in Motion shirts out there.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, we need to get those done.
Well, yeah, I'm working on getting them online where people can purchase them. Some people have asked about them, and I've been kind of tight-lipped about it.
We're going to have warehouses full of them.
No, we won't have warehouse. We won't even have them. They'll order them from a company, and the company will send it to them.
We should have tour dates put on the back.
Yeah.
And
Lancaster.
Brent, make sure your mom gets that link so we can at least sell one.
Columbus,
and I wanted to say, I'm sorry about the contest. I did a logo, and the first person who chimed in on my trivia question about episode 1 was going to get their name drawn on the logo. That ended in about 30 seconds. I didn't think it would go that quickly. I will do it again, but I will tell you right now, anything more than 6 letters in your last name is tough. It's very, very tough.
Well,
And I've seen some of them have 8 or 9 letters, and I'm going to tell you right now.
I got a horse.
You ain't one.
You may have to. You may have to just do the Ranger logo. Jesus.
It hurts.
Oh Lord.
Oh my God.
Oh,
This is the best part of the episode all night. Right?
Thanks for
oh
joining.
my God.
Thanks for joining us, 3 fat old men
Yeah.
with health
Jesus.
issues.
Love when it happens in the middle of a sleeping pattern, and you're sleeping.
Well,
and all of a sudden,
I mean, I'm sorry, but my Lord, I can't do anything about that. Oh my God. Anyway,
let's stop
we move
torturing
on to
people.
the topic.
this is Mike number one.
For the love of God.
Andy,
So everybody,
kick this
look
off.
for the Easter eggs. Brent hides something somewhere. Find it. He'll give you a special prize.
I'll say, hey, you found it.
You found it. So let's move on. This week's episode has been chipping away at my heart every day because this boy needs to rock. Josh, what are we talking about today?
We are going to cover the number 1 all-time Night Ranger album, Midnight Madness.
Josh, after we did that episode, well, you really had me reeling. I had to really think, and I was looking at the track listing again, just staring at it. And I'm like, that really is a perfect album. There's not a bad track. There's not one I skip. So, Josh makes me reconsider my number 1.
You probably need to reconsider all of them, but anyway.
Well, you can't put Mojo in every spot.
So with this album, I think it's important to maybe go back to Dawn Patrol a little bit, and I think it was Robbie I was talking to from the page as well. We were talking about parts of Midnight Madness being recorded with Dawn Patrol. And
yes, that's always a story that I've heard, but you can maybe clarify.
And he had talked to Jeff Watson or sent him a message in the past, and Jeff said that was true. And I've always said that musicians in the band are sometimes their own worst historians. They think something happened and it never did. Has to be there's enough to where there's some truth to that. We know Sister Christian was written before Dawn Patrol. We know that. Pat Glasser, who we didn't really pay much attention to, or if any at all, was the producer for the first 3 Night Ranger albums. He produced their demo that got them the record deal. So they have spoken in a lot of interviews how important Pat Glasser was to the early part of the band's history. Pat Glasser passed away a few years ago. So I think it was Kelly Kagi really always talked about how he really believed in the band, produced their first demo. So he had told them that the first album, that he thought, this first album would become successful, And when it would become successful, they wouldn't have time to really write a second album. So he wanted them to leave some tracks back for the second album. That is where we have an issue of what songs were held back. Do you guys have any ideas of what songs maybe were written and demoed before Midnight Madness that ended up on Midnight Madness?
If I had to go by sound, the feel of the song, I mean, I would think Passion Play. That sounds like it could have fit right into Dawn Patrol without missing a beat. And
Rumors
I'm trying
in
to
the
look
Air.
at the titles here.
Rumors in the Air sounds like it could be.
Yeah, I might even say Let 'Em Run.
That is okay. So again, it's hard to get this information, but from what I've seen, it was Sister Christian, which was actually written back in the stereo days. You Can Still Rock in America, When You Close Your Eyes, and Let Him Run. Now, I have always heard more of Sister Christian. Obviously, they talk about that all the time, not being on Dawn Patrol. But I'd also heard Don't Let Him Run as well. This is just what I've found in interviews, random interviews of them talking. They've kind of mentioned You Can Still Rock in America and When You Close Your Eyes. I have a strong case that When You Can Still Rock in America was not written before Midnight Madness. And When You Close Your Eyes, that's kind of a story on itself too, because the history of who wrote that song has kind of changed over the years if you listen to different interviews. So that's one mystery that we got. Something I'll throw in there though. You guys know the song off of High Road, the song Hang On?
Mm-hmm.
That is actually a early Night Ranger song. That was
really?
Something that's on the original demo that they they took the chorus from it. They had some cool verses, and they were, I guess Jack and Kelly were like, well, why don't we just take the old, verse from that song on the demo? So Hang On was something off of Dawn Patrol, going back to the last episode. So that takes us up to kind of them getting ready to record the rest, Midnight Madness. I'll let you guys chime in or, go from there.
I mean, we've always heard the story. Well, I shouldn't say heard the story. I just always felt like Rockin' America was written in between albums. I don't know where I would have heard that, but that just seems like that's what I heard. I'm trying to remember back to, MTV interviews and what we would have heard back in the day. But
well,
I always felt like that was one of the last songs they recorded. And I don't have anything to prove that or back it up. It's just that's something I seem to recall.
well,
They added it.
Jack Blades. Well, the interesting thing about Jack Blades is he is not one that writes on the road. He's said that before. Does not write songs on the road. So some musicians are out on the road. They will use that time to demo songs, record songs. Jack Blades said he basically never does that. You Can Still Rock in America is the one exception. The story, and the story changes, depending on when you read an interview and what year it is. But the basics of it is that they were on tour with Sammy Hagar on the Three Lock Box tour. So Three Locks Box came out late 82. So that would mean that they're on tour probably 83 with Sammy Hagar somewhere. So this would be before the release of Midnight Madness. And there's some specifics. They one of them says that they were in Springfield, Illinois. And Brad bought a whole bunch of rock.
Springdon.
Huh? And
I was doing a Spinal Tap thing. Hello, Springdon.
And just take a real quick jog. We don't have time for that. But Brad had bought a stack of rock magazines and brought them back to the Travelodge Motel, and him and Jack were reading them, and in all these, New Wave and all this stuff, Blondie was in the magazines, and basically saying, is rock dead? And Jack was just like, well, we just played, a huge crowd last night. Rock isn't dead. So Jack wrote that on the road, and I at some point takes some of it to Brad. Brad adds to it, and that's how that song is written. So that story in itself, and just the particulars, because there's some interviews where he actually remembers the city, Springfield, Illinois. That would mean that that's not written before the
Dawn Patrol.
Dawn Patrol. And I guess why we're talking about the formation of these songs. So this would be sometime in the middle summer probably of '83 that they're recording this. And the reason why they're recording it is Boardwalk goes under. So MCA picks him up, basically says Bruce Byrd, who is the vice president of Boardwalk, eventually becomes Night Ranger's manager. He basically forms Camel Records on MCA and gets MCA to sign Night Ranger and basically honor their contract and their plans with how they want to go about the band's future. So that's kind of where everything stops. We go back in and record a new album. And When You Close Your Eyes, since we're talking about songwriting and stuff, that's changed over the time as well, where, Jack tells a story about sitting at a piano, playing the chorus, and I can't remember the guy's name, but this producer walks by that's really famous and produced David Bowie and Air Supply. He's like, what are you playing? He's like, oh, whatever. And, when you close your eyes, that's a really good, chorus. I think you got something there. And you think I do. So that's kind of the story that's told now, but there's a YouTube interview from early '84. And it's all 5 members. It's in Japan. I posted to the page early on where Jack talks about writing When You Close Your Eyes. He had the verses, but he didn't have a chorus. And Jack says Fitz took the track, went away for a couple hours, came back, and he had that When You Close Your Eyes chorus. So who knows? Who knows? I always go with what's closest to the source of the creation, and I would go off that '83 or that early '84 video or audio interview where they say Jack wrote the verses and basically Fitz wrote the chorus, and I think Brad's a co-write on that as well. So Brad threw something.
He is. That's what I'm looking at now. Is so not to steal any of that, but I was trying to think of how much stuff do we know that Fitz writes. Would that make sense? Just looking at the history of writing in that band. But he is listed as a writer on it, so. But I always assumed it was a writer just because he maybe came up with part of the riff or something.
Well,
I never think lyrically.
I know Fitz, he doesn't get songwriting credits for a lot of the arrangements. So I could bring a song in, and then other people can, add different chord progressions and arrangements and almost give the song a new life. And I know Fitz did a lot of that, but didn't get songwriting credits for it. So, Fitz probably had his
hands on everything.
But if you look at 7 Wishes, Midnight Madness, 7 Wishes, and even Man in Motion, he's got songwriting credits on some pretty good tracks. When You Close Your Eyes, he's got 2 or 3 on 7 Wishes. I Will Follow You, I know is one. And he co-wrote Don't Start Thinking I'm Alone Tonight off Man in Motion.
Great song.
So I think
great song.
Fitz is probably one of those guys who are just underappreciated in the band. I mean, he was basically the one that Night Ranger was his idea. Taking Jeff Watson and the 3 other guys and forming this new band, and then so I just think Fitz probably had a lot more going on. So we just don't know unless we ever talk to Fitz or Jack who wrote the chorus of When You Close Your Eyes.
Let me jump off on a quick little jag here about songwriting credits. It's always bothered me as a guy. So, for those who don't know, I'll make it short as I can. I'm a drummer. Brent's a drummer. I've played in a band and I've helped co-write songs and we've recorded songs. And to me, everybody who's involved in the writing of the song should get credit. For example, if you look at Sister Christian, right? Sister Christian is credited as written by Kelly Kiki. Do you think he wrote the piano part to that song?
Well,
No.
I will argue, though, that it's your job as the piano player to write those parts. So you could also look at it as, if I bring in the nucleus of the idea, that's my idea, and it's your job in the band as a lead guitarist to create that lick as a lead guitarist, or create that piano part.
To write that part.
But that's your job, is to write. If not, I mean, that's why you have some bands that have, I know Dio is one, but if you look on Man in Motion, and Man in Motion is the only one I know that does this, it has songwriting credits, but then in the liner notes it says arrangements by, and it mentions every band member.
Okay? Right.
So, but I've always been, to me, it's who, and a lot of bands are like that. Who brings the nucleus of it in gets the credit. And if you really do add a big part, then yeah, you get a songwriting credit. Like, if, let's say, Jack wrote the verses and Fitz wrote the chorus, well, yeah, then that's two big parts. But I don't think just writing the piano part for Sister Christian should co-write, because you're playing your instrument to a song that someone brought.
Yeah, but and I don't want to get into the debate about it, because it's just it's where I stand on it. But again, you wouldn't have, if you just show up with a bunch of words and no music, and I go to my band, give me the music for all of this, I can't say I wrote that song, because without those guys, I can't do it. I can't write the music. I can't write the piano part or the keyboard or the guitar parts. We all are writing this song. I brought you lyrics.
Well, that's
as
different.
a drummer. And as far as the arrangement, that's great that you get arrangement credit, but arrangement credit doesn't pay you.
Well, here's the thing. If I bring in an acoustic guitar, if I bring in the demo for Sister Christian, and I have all the lyrics written, and I have the verses and the melody, and here's the demo, that's different. Because, I mean, that goes back to my argument, is I'm bringing in the song. Okay, here's the demo, here's the melody. If I just hand you a lyric sheet, and there's no melody or music, well then, yeah, if you create the melody to go with those lyrics, then you deserve a songwriting credit. But if I bring in a song and it's an acoustic, okay, here's how it goes, blah, blah, motor in, okay, yeah, I expect you as the drummer now to figure out your drum part to the song I created. And just because you're creating that drum part doesn't mean you wrote the song. You're the damn drummer.
No, I didn't say wrote the song. We co-wrote the song.
You didn't co-wrote anything. You played your instrument.
But then you could easily say, and I don't want to keep going, but you could say, all right, Kelly, you play the piano. You figure it out.
I would say, hey.
And Kelly couldn't do that. And I'm not trying to knock Kelly at all.
Yeah.
If anything, I'm just trying to say, it's always been a bone of contention with me as a guy whose drummers are always forgotten. And it's like, yeah, it may be true, but would Hot for Teacher be the same song if Alex Van Halen wasn't playing all that stuff? Now, Van Halen does give all four people. Everybody writes the songs. They've always been a diplomatic version of that. So, but I digress. I don't want to get into this debate, because I know it's a different thing.
So, there's questions on who. Yes. There's questions on who who wrote what with that. Let Him Run, I would assume, probably is written a lot like Goodbye was, where Jeff puts down different ideas just acoustically. Jack grabs the cassette tape and listens to it, and that's how we'll talk more about Seven Wishes, how he wrote Goodbye. But I would probably think that's probably how Let It Run started. Jeff wrote the acoustic part, put it down as a demo. Jack probably was going through the tape, listening, like that, started putting some verses over it, probably brought it to Kelly, because I think Kelly's a co-writer as well. Kelly probably added something to it as well. So, and that, probably is something that was written early on as well, and left off that left off the first album. But like I said, we don't know what was recorded. We do know, though, it wasn't everything, because Jack Blades does talk about they are recording this album, and how they do it is they record all the music first. And they were getting towards the end, and the producer basically was like, Jack, we don't have lyrics to half of these songs. And, they were in L.A., I think, and there's all kinds of stuff going on. They're distracted. So they had him fly out, like on a Thursday night, to his parents' house in Scottsdale, Arizona, and spend the weekend basically there away from everybody to finish up writing the lyrics to most of those songs. So, Yeah, he said I don't know what interview it was or whenever, but he sat by the swimming pool a whole weekend and wrote lyrics to Midnight Madness.
And you know, I mean, that is a great testament of how good of a writer Jack really is. Like, I don't know if Josh, you've ever tried to write a song. I've written songs, nothing, no one's ever heard. Maybe Brent. It is not the easiest thing in the world, but if you have a talent for it, and Jack seems to really have that, that's impressive to just knock out a bunch of songs.
I think what's more impressive is to actually knock out a great melody.
Yeah.
Because to me, I've always said, you know, lyrics are kind of the icing on the cake. You can have shitty lyrics, and as long as you melody, that song's going to be good. But you're not going to listen to a shitty melody with good lyrics. So,
you know, a lot of the hair bands that Brent and I cut our teeth on, I mean, they're masters of shitty lyrics with great melodies.
Yeah, that's what you need.
Great melodies. That's why I love it, man.
I mean, that's what's great about Bruce Springsteen is he's one of those guys that has good melodies, but you can get lost in the lyrics. That's why I like his music. But, you know, like I said, that's what's great about Jack Blades is he writes great pop rock melodies and very cool lyrics to go with it, and the same with Kelly Kagi.
Yeah, he tells some good stories too, which I enjoy. A good storytelling. So let's go down. They had how many singles off of this album?
Well, let's hold on. Let's Brent, you want to talk to us a little bit about when this was released and everything?
Yeah. Just want to find out. Y'all appreciate my impersonation of Fitz for the past 10 minutes.
I'm sorry, I got off on a little bit of a. I tried to rein it in. I really tried to.
Going, no, I know how Fitz felt.
Brent's known me for so long. He knows I can go and go about something I'm passionate about.
He's got a passion play going on.
I do.
Bada bang.
Okay, I just pulled up this file, and everything just crashed on me. That's great.
Well, I'll buy you some time. But by the way, in my opening when I said about this boy needs to rock, I do know that was not on Midnight Madness. I just love that. I love that line. So
yeah, I love when, like, you know, if you listen to, like, you know, other shows, whatever, and they'll say, "Oh, this is from," I'm like, God, no, it's not. No, it's not.
I don't pretend to say that This Boy Needs to Rock is on Midnight Madness. I just I try to find a way to throw that into the mix because I didn't want to wait for the Seven Wishes episode. I'll rehash that when we get to that point.
But I had to point out the episodes, you know, numbered episodes in a row here. Okay. Midnight Madness, according to, this is from the wiki page. I'm embarrassed that I had to go there. But it's saying the album came out in October of 83. Okay?
Yes.
And what I find odd about it is, and I don't want to jump ahead too much, Josh, but the first single, You Can Still Rock in America, they're saying that was released on December 3rd, 1983. I recall seeing that, gosh, at least in August before that album came out, because I had half the video recorded off MTV.
Well, Josh just happens to have something sitting right there.
I got a promo here.
Is there a date?
There is.
Thank you.
It looks like it's, you know, stamped, which a lot of these aren't, but some labels would get the, you know, some radio stations would get this and just with a little stamp when it came in. This looks like, okay, so I can't see everything on the date, but I can see a V for the month, so that would mean November. So
really,
let me try to. Okay, so it's under the promotional copy right there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So looks like November 21st, 1983.
Very odd, because why would you release an album in October and release your single till a month after? You know?
Well, I mean, that could be.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's.
But Brent, you know what? There's so much we don't know about the record industry. I mean, we need to get a connection in the industry to talk to us about how that worked.
Well, it could be a lot of things. I mean, it could be we don't know what else was being released at that time. You know, it could be something just as simple as MCA's releasing a Tony Carey album, you know, or a single the same week, and they decide, you know what I mean, just something to, you know, so you don't know. And Tony Carey was on MCA with him at the time. But what I'm saying is, it could be something as just as simple as that. We don't know. But yeah, that does make a little sense because usually the single would be released before.
Yeah.
Trying to read something.
A couple weeks before,
Yeah.
you know. But what else would you like me to tell you about this album?
So, October 26, 83 is when you're saying it was released.
Yep. 38 minutes and 56 seconds long.
That's the crazy part. That whole album is only 38 minutes long.
Here's the thing, maybe that we can correlate something with that Don't Tell Me, or the Rockin' America single. They do a quick little tour, I think, in the States beginning November 23rd. They play Santa Cruz, California. So that's right around the time that single gets released. So maybe they release the single with the tour. They go to Japan in early December. They're there for about a week. And then they come back and they begin the Midnight Madness tour. I think it actually begins with them as a special guest to open for Quiet Riot and Girl School opening up before them. You guys, I'm disappointed. Did you guys go see them December 30th, 1983 at Hara Arena with Quiet Riot?
No.
Saw the River Band with Tony Carey.
Yeah, with Tony Carey.
So they play December 20th, 83.
I knew about the show, though. I wasn't driving then, though.
So they also play again. This could be wrong, but it looks like they play again in Hara Arena. And we talk about Hara Arena just because it's all close to us. We're all Ohio guys, and it was a famous venue in Dayton, Ohio. Every band played there. And February 25th, 1984, it looks like they played Hara again. So maybe they came back headlining themselves. But you guys saw them June 9th, 1984 at Riverbend.
Very first show ever at Riverbend.
Was it really?
Very first show. And Jack Blades announced it, and he said they were christening the building, and they played Sister Christian. I'll never forget that.
Don't recall that. I recall who I went to the concert with.
It was the first rock concert at Riverbend. I should say that there was a Cincinnati pop show before that, but it was the first rock show at Riverbend.
My mind is reeling. I didn't know that.
Riverbend is an outdoor amphitheater, for all of you that don't know. I'm sure most cities have one. Just holds probably
Cookie cutter.
15 to 20,000 outdoor shed. So this tour really puts Night Ranger on the map. They're going up at this point. They always, and I don't know the exact date, but they mention it a lot when they knew, kind of like, holy shit, let's hold on to our corncob pipes, this is going to take off, is when they pulled up to La Crosse, Wisconsin, and they saw on the marquee sold out, and they all mentioned that venue, or that La Crosse, Wisconsin. So that was an important. I just don't know when it was. I don't know.
Well, it has to be after the release of Sister.
Oh, we lost him.
Yep.
Back then.
Unfortunately, he's back.
It might have been Night Ranger and the Puppet Show.
Yeah.
Well, I've always said Puppet Show, then Night Ranger.
They never listened.
And I don't know, did they? But, I think that was the one show where they played Jazz Odyssey.
Okay, I'm going to bring this back. When this album came out,
yeah,
I could do this all night.
It was dead.
Yep.
It was dead until Sister Christian was released.
When was that released?
That was released.
I can tell you quickly.
March 10th, 1984. So months later, after Rockin' America, once Sister Christian popped up, God, I remember. I had the album. I remember Andy and I going to Daytona Beach with our parents on spring break. And that's all we heard on the way down there.
Yeah, it was everywhere. Spring of '84, man. I mean, great for me and Brent because we're Night Ranger fans.
Yeah. So therefore, hearing it as much as I did, I'm like, okay, there's life in the band again. That's great, because I didn't want it to be a sophomore jinx for the band.
A lot of people don't know that You Can Still Rock in America was basically a dud.
Yeah. It really was.
And there was a video for that. Then they released the video for Sister Christian, and you said it was March of '83. And this is the, that's the song that puts them on the map. That's the song that really propels them to be in the public's eye for the next really 3 strong years. It starts with...
It had that crossover appeal, to pop radio, top 40 radio, and rock radio.
Because this starts I think the next 4 singles are all top 40, and I think the 3 out of the 4 are top 20. So this starts, the peak of Night Ranger.
Well, and to touch on that, Josh, Rockin' America only got to what, 51?
Brent,
am I right on that?
Yeah, 51.
And then Sister Christian went to
number 5.
5.
So yeah, Sister Christian really takes them off, and at the same time, they're on some great tours as well. I mean, we mentioned Quiet Riot, but once this takes off, I mean, they tour with ZZ Top for this tour, opening for ZZ Top, and you got to remember, ZZ Top is on top of the world.
Yeah, they're huge.
And unless you talk to people like me that just get into the 70s ZZ Top, but I do like a little bit of my 80s ZZ Top. But what, Eliminator? That would have been an Eliminator tour, right? Yeah. So that is a huge tour to be thrown onto, and they do other dates throughout the summer. They play, and some people have posted the advertisement for it. Andy, I think you were one for the Metal Fest in Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
Where they keep the wild calamas, and that was May 27th, 1984, when that was, and was like what, Motley Crue.
That was a crazy lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have it in front of me, but so
I'll pull it up while you guys talk.
They're on these huge tours. If anybody from Ohio, was a teenager or in their 20s around that time, they probably went to a show at Legend Valley in Thornville, Ohio, and they played there in July of '84. And I think they played with 38 Special. They did a lot of dates with 38 Special at that time as well. And, of course, 38 Special was huge at that time. So that, not only do you have this single that's rocketing up the charts, and you have this, relatively new channel called MTV, but you have these great tours that they're being put on. So it's just a perfect storm for the band to really take off.
Yeah, real quick, Josh, I got that Kalamazoo show. I mean, that thing was Triumph, Rat, Motley Crue, Ozzy, Accept, Quiet Riot, and Night Ranger.
Yep.
I mean, and it was 1950 for that show.
Yeah. So
25 day of.
Though 1950 was probably a good little chunk of change back then. It's probably close to 40 some bucks in today's dollar, but even that, I would, $40 isn't bad. But so yeah, they're on great tours. They tour most of '84, and then probably towards the end of '84, they're taking off tour. They, they tour to the end of the year because they start playing, I think, New Year's Eve in San Francisco there every year for a while. So they tour about to the end of '84. And then they go in to record Seven Wishes. So,
and they did Dick Clark's Rockin' Eve that year, wasn't it?
And that's the stuff.
I think I have that on video somewhere.
That was probably recorded in November or something like that.
Yeah.
I think they did When You Close Your Eyes. I think. Which would be the next. So.
And speaking of When You Close Your Eyes,
segue.
Summer, July 7th, 1984. Huge hit, was an MTV exclusive video. Never forget that. I had the yellow cup the monkey was holding. They used to have that cup. It came in. Remember, you used to say, "I can't believe you got the Monkeys cup." It came in Purina dog chow. That's what it came inside of. A bag of that. It was a Rubbermaid cup. Just, giving you some, factual information.
I think I had one of them now.
Yeah.
Like not at the same time.
Kelly Keagley's shirt was probably from Chess King.
Oh my God.
But no, When You Close Your Eyes was huge. Not as big as Sister Christian. It only made it to number 14 on the charts. Still top 20 hit. In my opinion, a little bit rockier, better. Love that song.
To me, When You Close Your Eyes is the quintessential Night Ranger song.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I mean, it is. It defines Night Ranger. It's basically melodic. It's got some rock. It's got the melodic part to it, and
it's got a great story.
Yep.
Well, I think it really, if you want to explain what Night Ranger, like you said before, Josh, if you're going to give someone a sample of what Night Ranger is, that is the perfect song to do it, because you hear Jack, you hear Kelly, blazing guitars, great melody, a great story, super cool video. I mean, what's not to like?
Night Ranger, man. Night Ranger.
And on top of that, a great album. Just a great album. From beginning to end.
So
it's got something for everybody.
And here's the thing too, is people that are younger than us don't remember. Now, I was 7 during '84. This would have been about the time that I got the album, or got introduced to him, because I remember watching Sister Christian that summer, and I remember being in my bedroom watching When You Close Your Eyes. I never saw You Can Still Rock in America. All right? So, we didn't have YouTube back then. So how are you going to watch these videos? I never saw the video You Can Still Rock in America until about 1997, when I lived in Columbus, Ohio, and I got MTV2, and one day they played You Can Still Rock in America, and I was like, holy shit, I finally get to see it. And I got into bootlegs about that time, and I had found someone had a bootleg with all the Night Ranger videos. So finally, at one time, I was able to see, because it'd been 10 years at that point, a little bit longer, 13 years since I saw like Sister Christian, When You Close Your Eyes. I'd never seen Color Your Smile. I'd never seen I Did It for Love, and there was no way to get those videos.
Hearts Away.
I'd seen that. I saw it premiere when I was 10. I was at my grandma's house, and I sat there remember how they used to do the upcoming videos? They would show the rocket launching, and then they'd show clips of the upcoming
videos. And I would try to guess all 3 of them.
And I saw Hearts Away, and I sat there for an hour waiting for them to play that. But anyways, that's how you had to see your videos, is if MTV or something didn't play them. But nowadays, you can just click on YouTube, and no one realizes how horrible it was back then. And another thing during this time too, and I don't know any information about it. I'm not going to, don't send Jeff messages about it either, because it's so long in the past. Nothing ever happened with it. But Jeff and Neil Sean were looking at doing a solo project together from Journey.
At that time?
Yep. So it'd been early '84. Neil Sean had gotten a hold of Jeff, and Jeff was spending time in his house, and they were working on material. Nothing ever came out from it, but that's out there a little bit as well.
Interesting. So, I'm trying to find the chart. I want to see what of Night Ranger, but I can't seem to pull the chart up right.
All you gotta do is just type in Billboard, 20, and then just type in whatever March of '83, '84, whatever you're looking for. That usually will get you a good little spot. But yeah, so that really, this puts them on the map. And the reason why we're seeing Night Ranger in playing the places that they're playing, opening for the people that they are, is yes, Sister Christian, Midnight Madness, but for the fact that they followed it up with 7 Wishes and had 3 top 40, 2 top 20 hits on their next album. So Midnight Madness and 7 Wishes, those 2 albums taken off, is why we're doing this podcast, and there's people, because they this just propels them.
Yeah. I mean, it's great, and the great thing is, I don't know. I'm sure they didn't realize it at the time, but Sister Christian has just become a colossal hit. It's still relevant today. People still listen to it. I mean, it was part of
It's Americana.
What was it part of? Was it Rock of Ages? Is that what it was? The play.
It was also part of that porn movie.
Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights?
Yeah, Boogie Nights. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
Not my favorite porn movie, by the way.
Never seen it. Surprising.
shocking.
But
Yeah.
but
I never see a lot of movies, folks.
listen, 100 years from now, when no one really knows the name Night Ranger, just like Perry Como. Perry Como sold millions, tens of millions of albums. No one cares about Perry. It wasn't lasting like Sinatra or anything like that. 100 years from now, when no one knows the name Night Ranger or whatever, if they want one song that's played, it's going to be Sister Christian.
Absolutely.
So that's going to be their lasting mark on the world.
Yeah, but by that time it'll be covered, and it'll have, yo, bitches and hoes, Sister Christian, you knows.
It'll be done by Harry Styles. Come on, Brent, you know that.
Anyway, Minute Madness peaked at number 15 on the Billboard charts. 15.
And not bad, because, I mean, if you guys, think about who's on the charts at that time. You got probably Thriller and Born in the USA, just two things off the top of my head. Prince is probably out there. So
Okay, well, I can quickly give you, I can't give you the exact order, but what Night Ranger was competing with in that summer. You've got Prince, his Purple Rain soundtrack is out at that time. Tina Turner, who has What's Love Got to Do with It. McCartney and Michael Jackson have Say, Say, Say. The Footloose soundtrack is out at that same time. Against All Odds is out. Van Halen's 1984 is out at that time. Lionel Richie with Hello. Hello. Yes, Owner of a Lonely Heart. Ghostbusters is out at the same time. The Classic Culture Club, Karma Chameleon is out at that same time. So, yeah, and Springsteen is out with Born in the USA. So, they were really... Duran Duran was still hot then. You're talking The Reflex was out then.
Yeah, Madonna.
Cyndi Lauper had just hit. She had, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, Time After Time. The Romantics. How do you compete with the Romantics?
Weird Al was smoking back then.
So, I think it's a pretty damn valiant effort considering what you were up against.
And Kiss had to look it up out. Soon to have Animalize.
Gotta throw that in.
Okay.
Always.
Yeah,
So,
always.
Have you guys ever noticed? Number one, this is the best one. By the way, if I had to make like a top 10 album covers with people in scrubs on them, number one.
Yeah.
Number one. But there's actually a lot of people don't know that. Yes, here's the album cover. There's actually 6 members of this band, okay, and they're all on the album cover. Everybody knows Jack, Brad, Fitz, and Jeff, but a lot of people forget Buzzy. Okay, Buzzy was an integral part. They kind of always pushed him to the side, so we always kind of try to. So if you look here, there's Brad, but if you look over Brad's shoulder, you can see Buzzy.
Yeah.
All right, the 6th member of Night Ranger. Promo copy, by the way.
But did he get any writing credits? That's what I want to know.
No, because he was
always buzzing off. That's why.
He was the fucking drummer.
How dare you, sir?
So
how dare you?
Live pull.
Everybody on the back here, I can't. One of the times I met Jack Blades,
directly in the center. Right in the center.
Well, I'm not. I just wanted to let him see.
No, I'm saying because when it splits into 3 windows, when you show them the one time, everything was off.
I'm just letting them know what I'm actually looking at. I'm not focusing on anything.
Gotcha.
We're talking about the back cover, Midnight Madness. So maybe it was Brad or Jack. I don't know. It was one of those times I met him. He went through and pointed to everybody and told me who they were. and
Oh, wow.
one of them's our tour manager. That's all I can remember now. But yeah, so all those guys played some, I think some part in the band. Like that was our tour manager, that was our tech, or something.
Yeah.
So that would be something cool to figure out too. They do think, well, maybe it's on the actual dust jacket here. So promo copy, gold stamp.
Yep.
So we'll talk about. I always thought these were some great photos. As a kid, I would stare at those at 7 years old, and just, you're 7 years old.
I love the one. Is it Jack that's up in the top corner, rocking? I mean, how cool is that picture, man? I wanted to be Jack Blades. I still kind of want to be Jack Blades.
I wonder if those are from Day on the Green. Didn't they play Day on the Green?
They did. I don't know exactly when that was.
I like to think that was Riverbend, Brent.
But
wouldn't have been on for that.
It's UD Arena. Kiss Store.
Yeah, it could have been the
I wonder
Kiss.
who this guy is here. Let me find it. There's Jack right there. All right, and then you see the guy working on the keyboards underneath.
Looks like my dad.
it's
But,
Brent's dad.
But yeah, that guy's on an album. But when I was 7 years old, my favorite member was Jeff Watson because my initials are JW. Jeff Watson's was JW.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was how I got taken in with that.
You were probably just learning your 8-fingered technique at that point at 7.
Yeah.
You want me to really blow your minds?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to be singing Didn't I Blow You Away after this. Weaver, Parker, Walter. You all got the same amount of letters in our last name? They all end with ER. Thank you. Notice that tonight.
Yeah. Buy your underwear.
I was doing something for the show. Making some graphics, and I saw the name. And I was like,
I don't know. Definitely. Yeah.
Well,
I don't know, Vern.
So
People are going to be here all day.
oh, Andy, you're killing me.
Going to hell.
They think Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons.
I just was looking at that right there.
Of course.
You want to talk about Glenn Hughes a little bit, Brent?
Glenn Hughes just sang backing vocals on Rockin' America. And he was also thanked in the liner notes here. Glenn Hughes has sang for like everybody.
They also thanked Mel's Place. Is that from Alice, the TV show, or is that the?
I think they were big fans of Vic Toback.
Well, and who Tayback? And who isn't? Who isn't? I mean, let's raise your hand.
So,
Did you ever notice Vera looked like the guitar player from Faster Pussycat?
Dang, man.
Looks just like Brent Muscat. Look him up. Vera from Alice and Brent Muscat. I'm telling you what.
Luckily, at this point, no one's still listening, right, Josh? We can assume, based on the analytics, no one's paying attention.
He told me that before, and he said what was even weirder is he always wanted to do Vera, and then it got
You're
weird
making this part up.
Because, that dude looked like Vera, and he thought, well, maybe I want to do him, and it really confused him.
It's conflicting. It's conflicting. Brent, you should do your little your contest should be.
All right, hey, Glenn Hughes, by the way, played for Trapeze in the 70s. Was in Mach 4 of Deep Purple with David Coverdale, Whitesnake, sang for Black Sabbath there for a while. This guy really has some pipes. He's in
Dead Daisies now.
Dead Daisies now. So Glenn Hughes is sang on a lot of stuff, and he has these soaring vocals. So the vocal part, he does that soaring vocal in the chorus, which I guess Brad actually did on the demo. But yeah, Glenn Hughes, just great musician. Just wanted to give a little background of who we're talking about here. Sang on the
you gotta wonder how did that come about? Like, were they in the studio and Glenn was in there at the same time? And like, hey, Glenn, come in real quick and help us.
Possibly.
Mm-hmm. Or those guys.
Well,
those guys know everybody. Number one, but I don't know what Glenn Hughes was doing at that time, and it might just been studio work, for his vocals, because he did sing on a lot of stuff. So it could have been, we'll get him in here and pay a couple grand, but They also thank Bruce Byrd, who got him the deal, vice president of Boardwalk Records, Sammy Hagar, Bruce Cohn, their manager. So there's some of the credits. This album, just for all the collectors out there, you have that rainbow label. That is the only label in the U.S. that was ever released on. They never reprinted that with that camel label, like Dawn Patrol was repressed. Seven Wishes has both labels because they eventually switched labels and began pressing it on the camel label. And then Big Life and Man in Motion are all camel, just the camel label. So if anybody has a U.S. pressing of this with the camel logo, post it, because I've never seen one before.
Josh will buy it from you.
Well, maybe. Never know.
Yeah.
So
Price is right.
if we'll do an episode, maybe do it. Andy, if you're busy, we could do this with some. We could fill an episode in, like a collector's episode with me and Brent. So this is where, if you're going to collect vinyl, and I've had a few people message out wanting to find the Bruce Cohn no management symbol on the Dawn Patrol and what to look for and stuff. So if you're really going to get into vinyl on Midnight Madness, MCA has two factories that print records. So there's two different versions of these records, and mostly you can go to the dead wax. One factory has a little etching on the dead wax, and another one has a different one. But the labels are different. So if you see this little Camel Records is Bruce Byrd's little division off of MCA. So if you look on the label and you see that camel logo right there, okay. Sometimes it's on the left-hand side, sometimes it's on the right-hand side, and that depicts what factory it was printed.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
There's the hype sticker.
Nice. The red one, yeah.
You Can Still Rock in America, Rumors in the Air, and Touch of Madness are the songs presented.
Well, that's when it first came out. Yep. They didn't probably plan their singles,
And you have two different types of hype stickers. This may be a different one, like an older one, I don't know. But this is a white hype sticker. And it's got Sister Christian, Rumors in the Air, and You Can Still Rock in America. Rumors in the Air is released as the fourth single off this album. No video. Nothing commercially in the United States. We'll get there, but and there, like I said, there's different. Like I said, we'll get into it more. But if you look at that, it says what? Midnight Madness and then Night Ranger underneath. There's some labels where they're switched. Night Ranger's on top. Midnight Madness is underneath it. You really get into it to where there's like Alan Zintz did the mastering of the album. There's some of the albums have Alan Zint mastering in the dead wax. Some of them don't. Columbia House, the CRCs, the RCAs, those are all there. There's some variations. I always like these. So here is Midnight Madness.
It's going to be epic. Oh.
With the epic from...
I knew it.
This is actually, though, not England. Where's it from?
Netherlands.
Germany. Canada.
I was going to say. Canada.
Oh, take off Hosers, Bob and Doug's.
No way, eh? Midnight Madness, yo.
This is kind of neat.
Motorin'.
That's what happens when I drink too many beers. I get Midnight Madness.
So, Germany, Bellophone Records.
Upload, eh? Go ahead.
Germany is all Bellophone. And this is a promo, I guess, copy. I don't have anything promo on it, except that it came with a postcard.
There's no little girl on that postcard, is there?
So it comes with a postcard and then a press release in German.
Oh boy.
So just something neat. So more Germany. This is kind of different. Mexico has a series.
Good catch.
Called Siri Rocker. So it's the album cover just with that little banner across it. You know, rainbow logo, but it's all in Spanish and stuff. Then you start really realizing how big they're getting because they're printing these in all parts of the world. Venezuela, different cover. It comes in plastic. The material's a lot lighter and thinner. So yeah, they're getting printed all over the world, and then obviously we all love the Japanese versions. CBS Records, Sony's still releasing them in Japan. Comes with an additional booklet in Japan, so you get this.
Is it the lyrics inside?
There's the back. Have Dawn Patrol. So you open it up, and it's got like a biography on them.
Yeah. You can't read anything other than Night Ranger and the band members' names.
I just remember.
It's more like a tour book.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I've never seen that.
Yeah, bro, I've got it.
For the ladies that like Brad, there you go.
There you go.
Or Brent.
Married with 2 kids to a female.
You can still like Brad, buddy. We ain't judging.
Man.
Hey, look at this shirt. Look at this shirt Jeff's wearing.
It's like Brent's logo.
And then you got Kelly, and there's the man.
I have my tour
poster
from Midnight Madness tour. I thought I'd brought it up, but I'll save it for when we do the deep dive on the album. I'll bring it. Yeah.
So it's got the.
Yeah.
And it folds out.
And it looks like a painting kind of the way they did it.
Yeah. I didn't know this, but I got this autographed by Jeff, Jack, Kelly, and Brad. Somehow I missed Fitz on it, so I'll have to hunt him down.
Heard you making fun of me and said, "Screw you, pal."
Yeah.
There's 2 paintings. Here's the back. It's got the same type of painting, just a different scene. So I just wondered where those original artwork.
I don't think they're actually paintings. I think they just kind of
an effect.
Did something, over top of the picture and made it look like a painting.
They're paintings, Brent. They're in a museum somewhere. Quickly.
They're in the loo.
So what's great about this album is Night Ranger's taken off. They're printing singles all around the world. Promo copies, different variations, a star on the left, a star on the right. This is cool. This is a promo copy of You Can Still Rock in America, and it's got a picture sleeve for the promo. All right. So for reoccurrent airplay only. So it's got the picture sleeve, and it has a small programmer's thing in the back. So very cool that MCA is really, promoting this album. A lot of times you get a promo, and it's just this.
Yeah.
So it's released commercially in the States, just on the rainbow label there. You can get a camel logo in the top left or the bottom left. Japan. And they released Rumors in the Air as a single in Japan, commercially.
Oh, cool.
What's the B-side to that one?
Touch of Madness.
Should have been single too.
Sister Christian. Now this is, if you collect 45s, they release this in every country. So there's a ton of them released in the United States. Brent. Canada. What's cool is England.
I paid attention.
That's cool.
And it's got the small little spindle, unlike most 45s. But I just love the real simple artwork. You have Sister Christian released in Germany, which is the cover with just Sister Christian across the top. You have it released in Italy. Again, the cover beat up on the back a little bit, but
that's pretty cool with chipping away.
Yep. Portugal releases Sister Christian. You can see
Estados
United States. Top 10 United States.
And it's the only one that I see that they use the old
70s MCA.
Yep. But you have it released in Germany. You have it released in Japan. When You Close Your Eyes, again, released in the United States with and without a picture sleeve.
Love the picture sleeve. Why didn't they put a lot of effort into those elsewhere?
They did in Japan.
That's true.
They did in Japan, and then I think it was Emily that I was talking to about Fitz. I think I said it on the Dawn Patrol episode where Fitz looked like he's going to kick someone's ass.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
So it's on the Japanese When You Close Your Eyes 45. All right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
let me find Fitz
Yeah, he looks a little...
right there. Man, look at that. He's none too happy, man. He's ready to go at you. So...
Yeah.
Mean mugging. So... If you get into 45s, and we'll do an episode where we dig into it and show you all the different variations. But like this stack...
You mean we didn't?
I skipped over a lot. So there is your 45s for the singles.
Wow.
What's cool is this is how what's great is we talk about how great these singles did, and what this is what people buying these 45s is what helped propel the album. Was the purchase of those. So, but I think I showed this to you guys one time.
Yeah.
Very
cool.
Bought this off, I think, eBay years ago. Someone just threw it up there and sold it for, I don't know, $4. And I didn't buy it right off the top. I just let it sit. It was probably relisted. And they had a little button with it from Dawn Patrol. So it's a little wristband that says Kelly Kagi on it. And no one's going to take the time to forge this and
you wouldn't think.
And sell it for $4. And it's got some age to it. So I always wondered if Kelly, if you're watching, did your mom make
when
that?
You meet him?
I don't know I think I keep forgetting I had it, so I never took it. So, maybe I just need to wear it, one time.
When next time you do a meet and greet, that would be so cool to show to him, because I bet he would have a story behind it.
Yeah, or he may not remember. Cassette tape from Saudi Arabia. This is how big they're getting. Sheet music.
Sheet music.
For Sister Christian.
I used to go to Willis Music and see all that stuff.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Japanese tour book. So these, it's pretty neat. It's got some great photos in it. I'll eventually probably post this on the page, but
better than the American poster,
But it's
that's awesome.
It's thick. It's 20-some pages. It's not very thin or anything like that.
Back when tour books cost $8,
Yeah.
Here, the Japanese. I need to post this so the Japanese fans can tell me about it. I got some Midnight Madness Japanese ticket stubs. So there's that one, and it looks like a tire ad for Dawn Patrol and Midnight Madness. So I'll eventually post those on the page and the Japanese fans.
Motoring. They were motoring.
Nice, well played.
Tell me a little bit about it. Did you guys have this?
No, I didn't buy that.
No, I didn't get it.
I just remember being 7, 8 years old, and my aunt had it, and I wanted one so bad, and I think my grandma got it for me for Christmas. So
I don't remember that. I remember the T-shirts, the poster bag, or whatever, and the necklace. That's all I remember them selling when I saw them.
Sold at the shows.
I don't remember that.
I think it was sold like in record shops or stuff like that. Because my grandma wouldn't have, she took me to a concert.
Sure.
85. Night Ranger starts appearing on album covers.
I remember that.
Yep. So this is Guitar Player, December of '84. And one of those It may have came with this. You can still rock in America. It's like a little plastic vinyl. Guitar player. Yeah, it did. December of '84. So
you had to put a penny on it, didn't you, to hold it in place?
Oh, those were so bad. I have a stack of Keel ones.
Am I right?
Place coin here.
And I have
and
I have a bunch of Guns N' Roses ones of those promo ones. I should sell those. And Burger Chef, you got those in the Burger Chef Fun Meals too.
That's what I remember.
Yeah, they're blue.
Night Ranger contract writer for June 10th, 1984. This I posted on the page like the very first week that we started it.
Wasn't that right after we saw him? We saw him, what, June 9th?
I don't have it in front of me.
What was it? You guys saw him June 9th, 84, yes.
Yes, so that's June 10th.
So this is June 10th, Irvine Meadows Terrace.
Well, that doesn't make sense. They wouldn't have gone from Cincinnati to Irvine Meadows.
Well, let me make sure. On June 10th, this is maybe when it was signed.
I'm not trying to make it look odd. I mean, but tour-wise, that doesn't make any sense. So.
No, not at all.
And they have the worst road manager in the history of road managers.
Now, with all this COVID stuff, that stuff could start happening when they're making up dates, you know.
They could have changed the date. I had to look at it, but it looks like either maybe this is being signed in April.
I mean, look, they could have done it. That just they would have had to get out of there and get on a plane.
But it does talk about, it does have, it's not complete, but it does talk a little bit about, what the requirements for the stage is, when they can load, sound check, their dressing room requirements, and it does have, their management phone numbers. One thing it does stay on here is they will not play before a segregated crowd.
Very nice.
In the contract. What is this? Cream 19 predictions for 1985.
I think I had that.
There's a picture of Night Ranger in there, right there. And they
see rat.
And the little blurb above it. This computer-generated photo of stick people looks like Night Ranger. So, one good thing is this is documented on video, this tour in Japan of '83.
Yeah.
This big old thing is like a laser type disc. Brent, you probably know it's not laser disc, but it's like a V disc or something.
They were still called laser discs or video discs, where you put them in and they would pull it out.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Plastic unit.
I remember those.
That's how Star Wars was first ever released. And then you had to put it in and then flip it over. Here, I'm going to get something real quick.
So
that's so crazy. I forgot about those things.
Yeah, you got those. Then you have Laserdisc. Such an awesome... It's basically the same size as a vinyl.
Yeah.
But it's got just that black iconic logo. Live in Japan. Comes with a booklet. There's the Laserdisc on it. Two different variations if you're a nerd. You got the white Obi slip. And then you got one with the red Obi slip.
You're a nerd.
I like your shirt.
Yeah, thank you.
What do you got there, Brent? You look like you're itching to
I
show
have
something.
The DVD. It looks like a CD. And it also comes with a booklet. It's probably a reduced size booklet of Josh's Laserdisc version. It has the lyrics in it, and I know I'm holding it in front of here. I'm trying to get it out, and I don't want to bend it up. It has a black Obi. This one's a promotional version of it, so I lucked out on that. But great from Japan. It's expensive import. Runs about $100 if you try to find it on eBay. There are bootleg versions of it out there. So that's it.
All right.
All right.
Give me a second here. I'm working the page. I need to leave now. Nope. Oh, she started it. There we go. Doing a little watch party for Eric Levy on the page. All right.
He'll understand why we're not watching
Um,
if he watches this.
Yeah.
So one other thing, how you can know that the band is starting to take off.
But wait, there's more.
Bootlegs.
What's that? Oh,
So you're getting popular enough to where they're creating vinyl bootlegs. It's got that's the label, so it's got a custom label on it.
That's pretty cool.
So this is World Tour 1984. I've posted this on the page, but yeah. So the band's getting big enough to where there's a market for bootleg material out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty.
That's pretty cool too.
Not,
I like the black one
yeah,
better.
it doesn't
yeah, it's more impressive looking.
doesn't have a custom label, but this is them playing Dawn Patrol and Midnight Madness. So they've got bootlegs are starting to be released. They do release DJ 12-inch promos. So these
Okay.
are
Okay.
what's unique about these is they do have different edits. So there's like a short version and a long version on some of these. And these are probably two of the coolest things for Midnight Madness. Is I posted this,
Yep.
so it's got
Radio
yeah.
station thing.
right there special guest. This is like a Star Search type
Yeah.
where they
Yeah.
different local bands compete, and this was the finals. Night Ranger's on there, so pretty neat to see that. Really neat. I need to get a copy of this, put it on YouTube. So this is from Japan. The rock guitar, how to become a superstar, Night Ranger. So it's got, Night Ranger hype sticker, and then what it does. Night Ranger doesn't play on, obviously, but it's got Don't Tell Me You Love Me, slow version, normal version. When You Close Your Eyes, slow version, normal version. But they do those two songs, Sister Christian, Chipping Away, Eddie's Coming Out Tonight, You Can Still Rock in America, Night Ranger, Rumors in the Air, Can't Find Me a Thrill, and Sing Me Away. And it's for guitar players. And what it does is it slows the song down to where you can get all the, hear all those notes, and then it plays a normal version for you to follow, and you can learn. But it's just cool hearing everything broken down and everything.
On Columbia Records.
I just saw that.
Where's Columbia at?
Look at the
label.
Are you talking
Isn't
that?
Yeah, just,
Yeah, it's,
That's
it's Columbia Records. Isn't that Columbia?
That's CBS Sony.
Well,
No.
doesn't say
Columbia all around it?
Nope, just CBS Sony Records.
Yeah.
But anyways, just something you don't see too often. It's really cool that I need to post it and let the Japanese fans talk a little bit about it, because I just saw it and,
Yeah.
and bought it. So, but yeah, that's what's cool about Midnight Madness 7 Wishes. There's a lot of stuff out there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
What you get with the top 15 album,
Yep.
So they
So this.
go in and start recording 7 Wishes, which is released May of '85. So what's that, a year and a half between Midnight Madness
Roughly.
and
Yeah.
7 Wishes. So busy little time for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
I love it.
So is that about wrapping up for that for all of our history and everything on Midnight Madness?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's something we missed. If we did, we'll be told about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, what's great is it's archived. We got Live in Japan '83. That it's pro shot. There's some bootlegs out there. Isn't there like a Cincinnati show that's out there that's bootlegged from Midnight Madness?
Not.
I think
I know of the Dawn Patrol one.
I think there is Little Kings is the sponsor. I will have to.
No, that's the Dawn Patrol
Is
one
it?
from WEBN. Yeah, positive.
There is one from Michigan. I can't remember the city. Marquette, maybe. That's out there on bootlegs. I don't know if it was broadcast for a radio or whatever, but there is some audio bootlegs out there from Marquette. You have Dick Clark. The Dick Clark American Bandstand. So there's some good footage out there of the band from this time period.
Great. It's great to watch. I love seeing videos and getting on YouTube and just watching all these old videos of that era. So, with wrapping that up, Josh, you want to? Does anybody have any moving on to new music that they want to talk about? Anybody that they like? Anything that's out there?
Got anything new that's out there?
I mean, I got one. I can say that, and Brent can talk probably more about it than I can. Tuck Smith, Brent.
Tuck Smith, yeah.
I love one song I've got there. What is it? What Kind of Love? They were scheduled. He was scheduled to open for the stadium tour this year with Motley Crue and Def Leppard, but Brent and Eddie Trunk both were telling me about him at the same time. I think. No,
Yeah.
Is that wrong?
Yeah, my mind just went blank on his band that he just.
But that's a great rock song, man. And if anybody out there is still listening at this point, Tuck Smith, look him up. It's a really good tune. What Kind of Love?
Good stuff, definitely.
ELO
ELO
came out last year. If you are a big ELO fan, get it. If you are not an ELO fan, what is wrong with you?
Is that new material?
Yep.
Nothing like a remix or
It
anything?
came out 2019. Still strong from out of nowhere. Down Came the Rain. Just, if these were released in the 70s, these would be big hits. Unfortunately, they're not released in the 70s, so you just got to seek them out. But definitely worth the spin if you like melodic rock. It's right up your alley.
All right. Brent, anything you want to add?
Got nothing to add.
All right, fair enough.
Thanks for sharing the playing on the page, watching the episodes. We appreciate it a ton.
So
Really do.
if there's something that we missed, or if you find some good footage of Night Ranger, post it to the page and put the link there. Let us see it. If there's something, I think we've covered most of it, but I think they were on Solid Gold too during this time period.
Yes.
So that clip's probably out there. I'll find it and post it. But if you come across something, post it to the page. Let us know. Let us know what your favorite Midnight Madness track is. If you watch all this, and put it in the comments. That's what I like most about the page is, let's say my least favorite song, and I don't know, maybe Chipping Away, right? But then you get people who that's their top song. It's cool to see, the dynamics of that. So, just keep watching. Subscribe to the page on YouTube, and we are still working on some other stuff for the page. Hopefully, we'll have some surprises coming up for you.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. Everybody, thank you so much. If you're still watching, we really appreciate it. And the page is a great gathering place for all of us that are fans of this super great band. And we'll see you again soon.